Historically speaking, NA has always done well week 1, but not so well week 2.
Cloud9 looks super good, and now suddenly Cloud9 to me are favorites to join SKT out of the group.
Good thing for us in Cloud9 is we're heading into week 3 because we played in the play-ins, so we have nothing to worry about.
这一场比赛打到真的小组赛当中，目前的一个状况，对于 EDG 来说，可以说太难了，真的太难了。
我觉得，因为我们还是有很大机会出现的，所以说就是我觉得笑到最后的才是胜利者，所以说我觉得我们的比赛还没有结束。
我觉得这一周对我们来说最重要的事就是我们要相信彼此，团结。 才有办法赢下每一场比赛。
In the face of disaster, managed to find the fight. This is their nexus. This is their game.
They're running out of time. No more forgiving. No use of running.
SKT just turned their base into dust. Once again, undefeated here in the group.
네, 이번에 3대 0까지는 당연한 결과라고 생각하고 이번 2주차는 SKT라는 이름에 걸맞는 좀 더 압도적인 경기력 보여드리겠습니다.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wuhan, China for the final day of the world's group stage. After some close fights for quarterfinals earlier this week, we're ready for more action as the teams in Group A look to secure their spot in the knockout stage. It will be bittersweet to say goodbye to this arena and these fans who have been incredible here in Wuhan in support of all of their favorite teams and players. SKT making their way into the arena a short time ago. Heavy favorites here, sitting at 3-0 at the moment. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, joined by Indiana Frosker in black, Alberto Crumbs Rengifo, and Isaac Azale Cummings Bentley. 45 games played so far in the group stage over 7 days, at least 6 more to go. How you guys feeling? How's it been? How's the ride been?
Rocky if you're an NA fan.
Definitely Rocky as an NA fan, but the games have delivered, am I right?
Absolutely. I feel great.
You do?
Yeah, my team.
Even looking at EDG today?
Yeah, first seed, there's still hope. If Fnatic made the blueprint, EDG can also follow that.
I think it's just been so fun because we've had so many upsets, so many crazy games. Really, I think it's almost impossible to have predicted all the games so far, the results that have come out, the impressive performances from Misfits and Fnatic coming back, you know, when people didn't really expect much of those teams.
Very much so. Now, yesterday we saw Team WE become the second Chinese team to secure the first seed in their group after a solid comeback in their last match against Misfits Gaming.
And it's been a long time coming. Team WE started their road in play-ins, and they started a little bit shaky, a little bit slow, but they're finally starting to warm up to the first, or the high compliments that I gave them coming into this tournament. I've always said I felt that they were the strongest LPL team despite being the 3rd seed, and people are starting to get a glimpse why I was so respectful to this team.
And right now we're sitting with 2 LPL teams in the 1st seed, 1 Korean team as a 1st seed. Of course, still left to play SKT and EDG today.
Sure, just like Clearlove said, it actually is not decided until the very end. And even though they are 0-3, they do kind of have their fate in their own hands, so long as SKT do deliver that crazy performance.
Along with Team WE, Misfits Gaming managed to take the 2nd spot after a dominating victory in the tiebreaker against TSM. The EULCS squad played in Challenger a year ago. Now they're ready for the quarterfinals here at Worlds, looking to prove all of the experts wrong yet again, except for Crumbs.
Yeah, well, I knew it from the very start. But yes, it's because this team has adapted well, and we were wondering about their breakout stars. You know, PoE and Maxar were going to have great synergy, but what about the top one? What about the AD carry? Who is going to step it up to the plate and deliver? And first week, it didn't look so great, but the second one, Hans Sama really just blew it out of the water.
I mean, they all stepped up in some way, and to me, what really spoke to me about the team is that they built their own style, right? We're watching their style develop and find its way into the tournament meta.
Yeah, and especially Maxwell. I do want to put a magnifying glass on him. I think his jungle pathing has been impeccable. That last tiebreaker game against TSM, he had to make the tough decision. Do I allow myself to get 3-buffed, or do I try to turn the tables on this Cho versus Jace matchup?
After TSM's exit, C9 is the only hope for North America as they find themselves in second place behind the reigning champions SKT. Now, the LPL's EDG are at the bottom with 0 wins, but as we saw with Fnatic, nothing is impossible at the World's 2017 group stage.
And if we've seen with Immortals, we saw with TSM, nothing is impossible for NA either.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, in the wrong direction. I still have some hope left, though, for C9, as they really did have a very impressive week 1, and they are one of the teams that looked like they were kind of creating their own meta. They were playing their own style and had some confidence with that.
They've been here before. They have made it out of groups last year. They have been in the position where they're the last hope. They do look impressive, and when you compare them to Immortals and TSM, they look like the team that just is the better NA team out of the 3 that came here.
Now let's check out some of the action we have in store for our final day here in Wuhan. First up, SKT look to keep their undefeated streak against AHQ before EDG start their comeback attempt against Cloud9. After our final quarterfinalists are decided, we will have a knockout stage draw to find out our matchups for the upcoming weeks. Then stay tuned for a special Top 20 edition of Worlds tonight. Coming into today, the hometown team EDG are in a tough position, but they have shown the ability to come back from deficits before, most recently in the LPL Summer Finals.
Okay, so the big name that we have to talk about today is Clearlove. He is playing in front of his home crowd. He is literally from Wuhan, so this isn't just a Chinese player playing in front of China. This is a Wuhanese player playing in front of Wuhan. He has been the rock, the spine of EDG, and if he crumbles, they will fall apart. He took spring 2017 off just because of the disaster that happened at Worlds. I thought for sure that was going to be his retiring point. He came back in summer, he drove them to the finals, looked down the barrel of Uzi, and took home the championship. And to have a devastating start like this is just crippling. Before, I would say EDG are done. They have fallen. There's no way they get back up from this. But Clearlove has reformed himself, and I think there's still fight left in them.
And while EDG have been performing below expectations, Cloud9 are off to a great start, looking to secure their spot in the quarterfinals today.
I think one of the most impressive performances from Cloud9 has been that of Contracts. You know, he is this very young player. He's playing aggressive style junglers. He's not conforming to the meta so far, though he can also play those tanks. And the way that he has been playing has been enabling their lanes, has really been defining the Cloud9 style.
It's typical to talk about Jensen when we talk about Cloud9, but all of the other members building up around him has been key to their success.
Absolutely. Here. Impact has been playing significantly better. You know that you can count on Sneaky and Smoothie to just be solid. They're not going to go pop off, but they'll be there and they'll support the rest of the squad, especially with Contracts and Jensen, as Azale was mentioning. That is so important in this group, that you have mid laners that you can exploit, mid laners that are expecting a lot of attention as well.
Now that said, we're doing a lot of building up of Cloud9 throughout the tournament. We've got a lot of faith in them, right? A lot of upside, potential. Where do they fall short? Where are the weaknesses and the holes in their play from week 1 that they could look to improve upon here in week 2?
See, I actually think it goes back a little bit further. When I was setting up on Cloud9, getting ready for the plans, I was looking at the regional qualifier finals. I was like, well, Impact's having a better performance than he had pretty much the entire split, so that's already a great sign. But their decisiveness, especially around how they choose when to fight, was always kind of the drawback for me. I felt like their setup was great, but when they could pull the trigger, they didn't do it soon enough. That completely changed when they faced EDG. They made a call onto a teleport. It didn't quite work. I was like, classic Cloud9. They're going to back away. They're going to lose all of their setup, all of their time. Nah, Impact flashed in. He found a 3-man taunt, and it was a beautiful setup for Jensen. So I actually think Cloud9 are performing super well because they've already shored up the weaknesses that we saw domestically from them.
Up next, we've got the reigning champions, SKT, who despite winning all of their games, did look vulnerable in that first week.
Sure, but this SKT is the same SKT that comes into every Worlds. They take group stage as an opportunity to learn, and coming into this tournament, the summer split was not very good. Remember that this is a roster between Huni and Pina that was struggling all year long, and so all summer long rather, and so they're kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't for them, and so I expect them to just improve every single time. And if that's not enough to convince you on SKT, remember that up to now, their entire group stage performance is a whopping 21-2 record.
And the scariest part about that is we still talk so much about how they improve throughout the tournament. Well, they're going to improve from a 90% win rate, over 90% win rate. That is absurd, and that's the level that this team does bring to international competition. I mean, we heard Wolf talk about it in the intro. They're going to bring a level of dominance that rings true to the SKT name.
In pursuit of perfection, man. They got 3 world titles. Now they just got to do it without dropping the game. Finally, we have the 2nd seed from the LMS in AHQ, who showed some promise in their first 3 games.
And the guy that I really want to highlight is Chowie. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a lot of him. I think that, you know, they keep starting Westdoor, and I thought maybe it was a synergy thing, you know, between Westdoor and Mountain. They've been playing much longer together, but even if you look at that team statistically, Mountain's not playing more around Westdoor than he is around Chowie. So I don't know why AHQ keep kind of fumbling or splintering their team dynamic there. I'd like to see them commit to one mid laner.
All right, well, as we close out the week, I'm going to give you one last chance to make a fool out of yourselves here. Down the line predictions, top 2 getting out of the group. Frost?
Unfortunately, I think I'm just the curse for NA. I'll actually take the flame here.
NA is actually the curse for NA.
I'm actually going to go SKT and Cloud9. It's not that I don't believe that EDG could make the same run that Fnatic did. I just don't have the confidence in both EDG and AHQ for all of the stars for them to align to catch up to the dominance that Cloud9 has shown.
A lot of pieces have to fall into place for EDG today. Crumbs?
Exactly. We already had an Equinox for Fnatic, so I don't expect it to happen again for either EDG or HQ. So I'm having SKT coming out first with the dominance, and Cloud9 that looks better. Maybe they can actually put up a fight against SKT, but if they do, they'll probably have to face a tiebreaker. No matter what, 2nd place for Cloud9.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, surely it can happen a 3rd time, right, guys? I mean, right?
Don't get too excited.
Well, you know, one thing I know is that when all of you are certain, things are definitely uncertain. Well, we've seen a lot of big plays so far this week, and we want to know what your favorites are. So hit us up at LOL Esports using that hashtag Worlds 2017, and we'll highlight them at the end of the day. For now, though, time to send it over to the casters to get us into the games. Enjoy.